myself daily, never amounting to the love and affection I got from a man, my God, who was worthy. I would stand in the mirror and wait until something negative jumped out just so I could alter the picture perfect. But was it worth it? Was it worth the lies I was believing that I was even retrieving the very signs of a disconnected soul of me and my Creator, spaced out and oblivious from the greatness of God, my Maker? Altercations on the inside, keeping me bound to alterations that I'm trying to make to my physical appearance, not knowing that God's near, the breaker. Just like when that thief tried to come kill, steal, and destroy, the thought of what God had intended me to think about myself. But the slightest walk by another mirror brought me back to what they see and not what God saw. They brought me back to something I missed, another flaw. Why couldn't I walk by a mirror and see beauty instead of ashes? Why couldn't I unwrap my thoughts around all this perfection media madness? Stupid questions from a believer that should already know. But how was I supposed to get my answer without me asking in the midst of me willing to grow? God said, you are idolizing every thought of yourself, and when you look into that glass, because you pass by it doesn't mean you have to dissect every root and crevice I created. Right. He said, I brought you out of the dust and made you perfect in the image of me, but you still rejected the parts I molded from the room and still hated. It's okay to want to be healthy, but now you're making it about beauty, and that flower's going to fade awfully quick. You spend more time counting carbs than understanding I've numbered the stars and wrapped up in the Atkins of Jenny's profile pic. Caring what people think, and on the very inside of that thought comes some expenses. Trying to condense everything you're feeling on the inside, and it's hindering your senses. Your sight's lacking revenue that can't pay your burdens. Tasting the flesh of your decisions colliding with your internal diversions. Smelling certain urges that plot out the next direction. But what the left hand don't know is the right's dealing with rejection. Daughter, I've already removed the scales from your eyes, but you keep choosing to slap them on like a pair of Louis Vuitton and expect me to coexist with your Prada. Silly me. Because I failed to see that my Father in heaven was the one who created it all in 7, adding to my whole lump a little leaven. I remember the predestination and my anticipation of his will with this pleasure would be shown. For me, the one you created, you set me apart and fixated, appointed a prophet to the nations to be known. He called me out of the darkness into his wonderful light, and his possessions are so precious from his grace. He chose me as I chose to praise, pulled me out from my insecurity blaze, and set me as royalty over the mountain to know his face. As his lavish love overthrows how I feel about myself, I remember how to set my mind on things above. I'd rather be seated by the throne than be stuck in the zone of not knowing who I am in God's love. And now I'm realizing I'm still looking in the mirror, overwhelmed but not overwhelmed with fear. The unfading beauty of a gentle, quiet spirit gave off the luminous of the renewing as it goes through. A sudden flash of observance created joy in my heart when I saw through what the world told me to level up to. And at God glances back. You are altogether beautiful, my love. There is no flaw in you or this moment that took us to the cutting off the contract you tried to sign with defeat. It's time to rise up and come from among your thoughts, because I've already done the perfect work and it's complete.
Amen.